Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics. How you doing? Welcome to the Fantasy MD's Baseball Podcast. Today is Monday, May 16th, 2022. This is our 22nd episode, ironically. Your host, Dominic Martino, co-host Matthew Arne. Matt, how you doing, my brother? See, you finally got yourself in the win column there in the big money league, huh?
Well, finally, man. I mean, it's been brutal, but we prevailed. We fought. We put the face paint across the face, and we charged into victory.
Yeah, there you go, my brother. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. So hopefully you can meet me up at the top of the rankings sooner than later.
Give me a week.
But yeah. So I like the attitude. I like the attitude. Well, you know what? I'll say this. I know Matt and I specifically are dealing with the injury bug, and it's been tough over these first few weeks. And today we're hitting you with our infamous waiver wire episode for this week. So stay tuned. But as always, we're gonna start off here with a finger on the pulse. Dan, this one is interesting. So we're gonna start off with our boy Hunter Greene. A little congratulations to the kid. He went out there and 7.1 no hit innings. I believe it was 9 Ks there. I'm gonna pull up that specific stat for you there in a second. But man, he looked lights out. But too bad they could not pull out the win there for him. They still wind up losing the game. It's like I think one of the only games in MLB history where a team loses and doesn't give up a hit. So that stinks. But the kid's looking good after a few subpar games. So yeah, it was 7.1 no hit innings. He gave up had 9 strikeouts. He walked 5 though, so it was a little shaky with the control. But man, he looked pretty good. I know it was the lowly Pittsburgh Pirates. But I'm excited to see what Hunter Greene, could do here. He gets Toronto his next start, so I don't know if I'm starting him in that one. But 37% owned on Yahoo. I think Hunter Greene's worth the pickup after that big outing there.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty encouraging. Let's put it that way. I'm not out on him like I was a couple weeks ago, but at the same time, I'm also not in on him either. So I guess it's like this. He had a good start last week prior to this one against Milwaukee.
Yeah, he did.
He had a 3.38 ERA with 6 Ks in 5 innings with a 1.5 WHIP, which is a little bit on the high side. But then he follows it up with this start. We almost thrown a no-no if they would have let him go. But I mean, at this point, you kind of got to take it like this. You don't want to trade for him because I wouldn't do that yet.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
If I'm in a non-keeper league or dynasty league, I might want to trade high because of the hype and the young, sexy name. But if I'm in a dynasty league, I'm holding and I'm smiling because this is what we've been waiting for. So right now, I would just take a very either an unload like I did with Mackenzie Gore, or you do something like you hold and call it a day.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with most of everything you said there. I will say this. I think at 37% owned and just the way starting pitcher has looked recently, I'd say he's a go out there, wait and see. I'm definitely, once again, I'm going to reiterate here with Hunter Greene. I'm not starting him at Toronto. Yeah, that's definitely not something I'm going to do. But you hold him, you throw him on the bench, and you kind of see where, this road takes him. Because you know what? If he does go out there and he throws a gem against Toronto, everyone's going to own him. That 37% is flying up to 80. So I don't know if this year's going to be his breakout year. I'm kind of on wait and see with him. I mean, like I said, if you got the spot on your team, definitely go out there and just add him, just precautionary. He's that kind of talent with throwing 100 miles an hour, and he's got pretty good breaking stuff too. So I would say with Hunter Greene, man, definitely interesting. Definitely interesting to see. Congratulations to the kid going out there and doing what he did. That's awesome to see. So we're gonna keep it pushing there from Hunter Greene's awesome outing to our news and notes here. We're starting with one that's sad to see. One of my boys, Jesus Luzardo, goes to the IL here with the forearm strain, and I don't like to see that personally. It's just not something you ever want to see with the starting pitcher. Anything in the arm is just usually doesn't end well. So I will say this though, I heard some people in the organization saying it might be a minimum stay, but that's just hearsay at this point. So I'm not necessarily believing all of that. But with Luzardo, he's been so good so far. So knowing that he had that injury is probably why that last start didn't look so good. So I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm just going to say, don't mind your IL. He's not a drop at this point for me.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the 15-day IL. There's been no MRIs or anything yet. So, I mean, things are not looking great yet. I want to hear what the MRI comes back at. I want to hear where he's standing before I make any decisions. I pray it's not TJ because I don't want to see him get another setback after finally figuring it out. So, let's all keep the prayers with the man and see what's going on. If I'm in redraft league and somebody kind of floats me something really nice for it, I might take it. Other than that, he's a stronghold for me.
I do want to throw one more thing out there. So the thing is, we've talked about Max Meyer, Marlins prospect on this podcast before. It doesn't look like he's going to get the call Tuesday, which some people speculated. I think they're going with Cody Petit for Tuesday. But I will say this: I did see a tweet from I believe his name is Craig Mish. He's one of the Marlins reporters. He did come out and retweet something that from somebody else. I can't remember who he retweeted it from, but I know it was Craig Mish, the Marlins dude, retweeted somebody saying that Kim Ning, the Marlins GM, came out and said that Cody Petit is the one starting Tuesday, but as far as the weekend goes, they're not they're not saying anything. So I do want to say, guys, Max Meyer is still a very great young pitcher. If he is pitching Tuesday for AAA Jacksonville, so I would monitor that start. If he goes out there and he throws another gem like he has been, rebounds off of that last bad start, I could possibly see him getting the call this weekend. Once again, a very, very high-end pitching prospect. He's been absolutely great his whole career. If you want, go check the YouTube video. It's a big Max Meyer picture. I forget what exact episode it was. But if you want to hear more about him, just go into that. He's somebody to monitor here, going forward over the next week with the Marlins. Just wanted to throw that out there as far as the Luzardo injury goes. So to keep it pushing, though, we're going to talk about another unfortunate one. Casey Mize had a setback on that elbow injury. He went out there and he just wasn't feeling it, so he told them he can't really throw at full capacity yet. So just something to monitor there. If you were kind of banking on him coming back, he's kind of falling in the rankings of the IL stashes at starting pitcher, in my opinion. Matt, I know it's one of your boys, so if you want to just add something in there before we keep it pushing, be my guest.
Yeah, it's not encouraging whatsoever. The fact that he had to say, "Yo, I'm not throwing as hard and I'm not feeling great." That tells me he's at least a month, maybe a month and a half, which at that point it's after All-Star break. So I just wouldn't even count on him until then. It's unfortunate because he looked like he was going to be back next week. I picked him up everywhere, unfortunately. But yeah, that's all I really got to say on that. I guess we'll move on to the next piece of news, which is
keep it rolling.
My other boy, Ronald Acuna, probably everybody's boy. But Ronald Acuna, covers from the ACL, now dealing with groin injury. But I just saw a report today that there's a possibility for and hopeful for tomorrow. So that's a good sign. I think, you know what it is? He really didn't have time to warm up. He kind of really just destroyed AAA because, you can't keep a talent like that.
Yeah,
that mediocre.
They just kind of let him go crazy.
Yeah, so they let him run a little too much, and then he's not really fully stretched out or warmed up. So, this is going to be a product of that. I just hope this doesn't linger. This is one of those things where it's soft tissue issues, where they can keep coming back. So, it's something to watch out. It's not like it's affecting anything of my opinion of Ronald Acuna. If he's healthy, he's playing, and that's just it. But, it's just something, be aware of what you're getting into while you have him. And, don't be surprised. Don't get angry. Just, just understand this is probably going to happen again in another week or so.
Yeah, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say this. I did see an update here that he ran the bases before today's game, which is Monday, Acuna. I just want to just chime into what Matt said. They were kind of letting him do his thing. And sometimes you got to save someone's got to save you from yourself. Because the kid's one of the most talented baseball players, in the world, if not the most talented baseball player in the world, definitely in contention for, that category. But, he was just running, stealing bases, playing the field. So they were kind of like, oh, you could just do it. Go do it. But like I said, sometimes you got to stop. Someone's got to hold you back from, doing too much in life. We all want to just accomplish everything we possibly can, but sometimes you got to slow down and, just feel it out, especially a young kid like him, he just wants to do everything right away. And not that he can't, it's just that you do need to slow it down and get into it. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Braves kind of say to him, hey, we're going to try and get this slow play it a little bit here so you don't get hurt, for us long term, especially if they want to win another championship like last year. They're going to really need him, especially without, Freddie Freeman there. So maybe he slows down with the steals. Maybe he's not playing out in the field every day. Maybe he gets a little time at DH, like, the Phillies are doing Bryce Harper right now, which is actually doing wonderful for Bryce Harper. So maybe they do that sentiment here. But once again, like Matt said, Acuna's a top player when he's healthy, but just monitor his health here and we'll keep you updated on Acuna's grind going forward. Just to keep it pushing here, Chris Bryant looks like he's gonna start a rehab assignment Tuesday, and he should be back there. I think they're saying by the end of the week, which is awesome news. Let's see what KB can do. We're gonna keep it pushing once again. Lucas Giolito is on the COVID IL, but I did see an update not that long ago that it looks like he could potentially start either Tuesday or Wednesday. So that's good news for Lucas Giolito, especially off that injury early in the season. You really don't want to see him out and miss any more time. A talent like that. Keep it pushing. A guy that was having a huge breakout for the Mets. That's Tyler McGill. He hits the IL with a right bicep tendonitis injury. Man, just you don't like those arms injuries on those pitchers. You just never like seeing that. And dealing with tendonitis, I've dealt with it myself on my shoulder. Man, that stuff just lingers and lingers and lingers. So for this season, I don't know, man. I'm kind of a little bit out on him for the time being, my brother. Any comments on McGill?
You know what? This is another thing. Tendonitis. I've had it in my shoulder.
Yeah, see both of us. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
you too. Actually, what's funny? I forgot until you said it. The both of
yeah.
us, so we know.
That thing is not comfortable. I mean, yes, they're gonna have probably the best doctors of all time, where I'm just gonna get mediocre healthcare. But it's
Yeah,
one of those things where he's gonna be out for a month at least. It's tendonitis is no fun. So it's just essentially it's inflammation, and especially the bicep, which means it's gonna be connected to the elbow. It's gonna affect everything. It's gonna mess up. It's gonna mess him up. He's not even gonna be able to pitch for a month. I guarantee it.
yeah, and it's a shame because he was having a great year. So just keep him stashed for now, and I would monitor the situation, and we'll keep you updated here at the MDs. Willie Adames, left ankle sprain here. X-rays came back clean on him, but once again, something you never want to see for a batter, especially a guy who runs like a little bit like Adames does. I know just I would monitor the situation, see if he hits the IL here over the next few days. If he does, he's a stash in most leagues. He's got a lot of bombs so far in the season. I know the batting average is a little bit lower for Adames than some people expected, especially myself with that Milwaukee Brewers team, especially after what he did last year, really killed it down the stretch for that team, did Willie Adames. But other than that, Matt, you got any thoughts here on Adames?
Now you covered it.
Yeah, so moving forward, Jeremy Pena missed the last 3 games with some right knee discomfort. Once again, might monitor that situation to see if he hits the IL. I'm actually going to check to see if he is in the lineup today, Monday. Is Pena in the lineup? He is not. So it looks like a fourth straight missed game there for him. Blake Snell is going to be starting Wednesday against the Phillies, which is awesome. I finally get to see what Blake Snell does this year. He was actually looking pretty good in the minors so far. Let me see if I could find those Blake Snell minor league numbers so far this season. Matt, I know you have him in a lot of places. Any thoughts here on Blake Snell?
I'm pretty excited. I'm just hoping that changeup goes bye-bye and he's going to be the best pitcher in baseball. Well, one of the
Oh
best.
yeah, that's the thing with him.
Yeah. So as long as that's gone, I'm pretty excited. I guess we'll see if he's crushing it, which down in the minors it tells me he's not throwing it.
I
So
got the numbers for you. I got the numbers. So far, Blake Snell in the minors, 3 starts, 2.77 ERA, 13 innings, 19 Ks, 2 walks, and a 0.84 whip. Very, very not throwing my changeup Blake Snellian of him. I remember last year, I had him in almost all my leagues, one of my favorite players of all time, Blake Snell. I love him. I don't love his attitude, but I love what he can do out there on the baseball field. And man, after he stopped throwing that changeup last year, he had about 7, 8 starts before he got hurt, and he looked like Matt said, one of the best pitchers in baseball. Right now, his ownership's probably crazy high, but if he's out there, anyone dropped him, go pick him up. I mean, right now is the buy low opportunity before he gets that first start. So if you want to go out there, throw a little offer at the Blake Snell owner, I would advise that at the moment. But to keep it going here, with that, Mackenzie Gore, by the way, that's another one Matt had mentioned a little bit earlier. With Blake Snell coming back, Mackenzie Gore hits the bullpen, and anyone that was banking on Mackenzie Gore to do anything big here over the next, I'd say, couple months, it doesn't look like he's going to do so. They're going to try and limit those innings on the kid, but he has looked pretty much lights out here so far to start the season. So I would say in shallower leagues, he's probably a drop right now. In Dynasty Keeper, obviously a hold, and maybe in deeper formats, he's a hold as well. I will say this: the San Diego Padre rotation doesn't have the best track record with injuries. So, Mackenzie Gore could be right back in that lineup at any moment. But right now, it doesn't look like he is going to be there. My brother, that's one of your guys. Any thoughts on him, real quick?
I mean, Mackenzie Gore is a fantastic talent, but the window was last week when I said, "Hey, trade him."
It was
Um,
close, and yeah, we both said it. We both came out and told everyone trade him, trade him, trade him.
like he's one of those guys that like dynasty and keeper, where you're kind of in that rebuild. I'd hold on to him, but other
Yeah,
than that,
definitely.
you're in a redraft league or you don't got room to keep him. Sayonara.
Definitely redraft cut him. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like unless you're like in a 15 man, like a deep league, or like a
yeah.
NL only or anything, like those are holds. But anything shallower than that, it's just going to be tough to justify a guy maybe throwing 2-3 innings out of the pen tops. Is just going to be
It,
tough. I'll
it
tell you
didn't
this:
eat
I
that.
tried to do it with Michael Kopech last year in a few leagues, and by the end of the year, I've just wound up cutting him because it wasn't worth it. It was a really tough situation. So with Mackenzie Gore here, it's going to be really tough to hold on to him going forward. But besides Mackenzie Gore, Byron Buxton, man, this guy is he's something else, man. Hit a couple of bombs over the weekend playing through that knee injury. But the Twins did come out and say that they're going to be careful with him going forward. So I wouldn't be surprised if Byron Buxton gets a day off here or there, over the next maybe month or so. And maybe they limit him on the steals a little bit. Maybe he does a little bit of DHing during that time. Just somebody you want to be very, very careful with. And I think Matt said it like best at the beginning of the season. You kind of want to trade this guy right now. I mean, it's the thing is he's so talented, but I feel like the dime is going to drop on him any minute with an injury that he's going to miss months and just a big time like Alberto Mondesi. That's another guy who's missing the whole year. Just you get those kind of vibes sometimes from Byron Buxton. He is way more talented, so it's a little bit more rewarding, but the risk is probably about the same on those two guys. Another one sad to see. Jared Kelenic was sent down. The Seattle Mariners outfielder, young talented kid, just can't seem to get the stride going here in the majors. It just stinks to see it. Somebody you really would have loved to see find himself, but hasn't done it yet. Good luck to Jared Kelenic down in the minors. Robinson Cano signs with the San Diego Padres. I mean, I'm not saying that there's any value there right this second, but definitely a situation to worth monitoring because he was great, few years ago. He's coming off of that suspension, and he really didn't do anything so far for the Mets. But who knows? Maybe some things pick up for him here with the Padres. Clayton Kershaw headed to the IL with back soreness, but good news. It looks like everything came back clean on him, and he's supposed to throw a bullpen on Wednesday. Just I'd say adjust accordingly, and just be careful with him going forward. He's a guy, he gets hurt a lot, and you don't want to see that reoccurring back injury that he's had over the last few years. Matt, stop me at any point if I'm just rambling because
I,
I'm just pushing my
you're
way through
killing.
this. Okay.
You're killing it.
Yeah. Brandon Lau, just today, or Brandon Lowe. I always get it so confused. I think it's Lau. So we're gonna go with Lau.
You got
Brandon Lau, lower back injury, headed to the IL. And probably a minimum stay if you ask me. But he was getting hot here over the last couple of weeks. I did check his numbers. He was traded in one of my leagues recently, so I was peeking into that a little bit. And hey, he looks like he was heating up a little bit. Now you get yourself a little pat on the back there for that one, my brother. But Johnny Cueto, last little news and note here. Johnny Cueto is getting called up to start for the White Sox. I mean, hey, deep leagues, maybe that's a dart throw, but I'm not advising him in any leagues besides maybe like a 15-man or an AL only. So, guys, that's the end of our little news and notes. Now for the infamous MD's waiver wire segment that I know everybody is usually looking forward for because we got some good names for you this week. So just to start off here, get it pushing. Somebody that I've just, I don't know why I've been watching so many Nationals games, but for some reason I've just the Nationals wind up on my TV a lot. But Yadiel Hernandez, man, this kid's just been absolutely on fire recently for the Nationals. He's only 40% owned on Yahoo. He's outfield eligible only. But man, on the season, he's got 11 runs, 3 bombs, 19 RBIs, a steal, and he's hitting a 333. And I'll say this, just from what I personally see, man, he's great with like runners in scoring position and just like timely hits. So that Nationals team's been playing a little bit better recently. Nelson Cruz has been heating up. Juan Soto's heating up. I kind of like what the kid offers here. Matt, any thoughts here on Yadiel Hernandez?
I mean, he's worth the shot. I mean, there's not really much out there. I mean, even the guys we're probably going to talk about in the bats category really isn't going to be, has much sex appeal, is what I would say. in terms of, oh my God, like, these could be long-term solutions and more like a streaming option. He could possibly be
Yeah.
that young dude in a lineup that
He's
needs.
actually, I want to recorrect myself. I thought he was younger, but he's actually 34 years old. He is actually on the older end of things. But I will say this: he had a good year last year, with the Nationals. But sorry to interrupt you, but I got to correct myself there before I.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I thought he was. I had him. I've got him confused in my head with somebody else. That's my fault.
my man looks like Snorlax, but
yeah,
I had to zoom in and see. I was like, oh God. But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so I retract my statement about him being young. He's old and he's older than me. But
I'll take the blame on that one.
yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about him, and I guess nobody has, but he's playing good. So this is what I say: roll the dice, ride the wave, and you know what? There's injuries, so he could find some way into somebody's lineup. But
Yes, sir.
I guess we'll keep it moving with a name that everybody probably know, and probably he's disappointed over time, and that's Trey Mancini. He's been having a little bit of a hot week. First base has not been too great in production wise this year so far. So you know what, take it where you can. So right now, as last week, he had 3 runs, 2 bombs, 4 ribbies, batting 400. I'll take that on a pickup all day. So I mean, again, another one. Ride the wave, see what happens. He hits in Baltimore half the season. Let's see real quick. He has the New York Yankees at home. So, I mean, I don't want to hit against Nasty Nestor, Garrett Cole, and all them, but I mean, I'll take the fact that I
Yeah.
have the opportunity to go in Baltimore, even though they did extend the porch, but it's still better than most places.
Yeah, I'll say this about Trey Mancini. It looks like after dealing with cancer and making it through. Thankfully, we all had our thoughts and prayers out for Trey Mancini.
I had no
After
idea.
that, yeah, after that, I mean, he's had a shaky year last year. He did hit 21 bombs, but I mean, he was nowhere near. Trey Mancini was nowhere near that amazing 2019. I'll just read you off what Trey Mancini did in 2019. He played 154 games. He had 602 at bats, 106 runs, 38 doubles, 35 home runs, 97 RBIs, a steal. So he's not really going to steal any bases, and he had 291. So now this year so far, Trey Mancini in 32 games, 121 at bats. It's 11 runs, 4 doubles, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, and he's hitting 289. So for me, it's just kind of reminiscent of that 2019 a little bit. Do I think he gets as high on the bombs? No, but hey, can he hit 25 bombs with a bunch of RBIs, runs, and a good batting average? He sure can. So I'll say this, he's first base eligible only on Yahoo right now. So I mean, 58% owned. I say he go out there and give him an ad. Out of everybody we're going to talk about today, he might be the highest, but I think it's going to be a tie for him. And I'll go into our next guy here, Yuli Gurriel, another older guy, and I know that for a fact. He's getting up there in age. I think he's probably almost 40 years old. I'm gonna just double check myself on that here in a second. Is he? Nope, he's 38 at the moment. But right now, for Yuli, he's been heating up. But I'll read his numbers so far in the year. He's got 30 games, 113 at bats, 11 runs, 13 doubles, which you kind of like to see. 2 bombs, 9 RBIs, 2 steals, and he's hitting 248. But the thing with Yuli is he's a career 292 batting average guy across 685 career games. So somebody that is known to give you that kind of batting average. He's got a little bit of pop in the bat. He's on the Houston Astros team, is what what kind of puts him over Trey Mancini there for me. Maybe Baltimore goes out there and trades Trey Mancini, which would then boost his value. But Yuli is 61% owned on Yahoo right now, so he is getting a little bit up there. I just did want to throw his name into the mix before that ownership gets too high and he gets to his normal self again.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, he had 6,300 ads today. So
Yeah, so that probably bumped it up my too when I put together the show notes in the morning, and then sometimes those ads just bump all these guys up by the time we're recording.
it was a 7% jump today. So yeah, when
Yeah,
we were looking at him, he was lower on
yeah,
the
he's
board.
probably a
But
little bit lower than that.
yeah, waivers cleared today. But I mean, hey, it's encouraging. Still 40% of your leagues. He's definitely worth at least an ad first base, just like I was saying, like Mancini. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll take his numbers a little bit better, especially with the fact that there's way more ribby potential. So you know what? And let me see, who's he going up against? He's going at Boston for the next 2 days, and then Texas.
Yeah,
A
Boston's
little
been
bit better.
horrible.
It's a little bit better of a matchup. I mean, I'd much
Yeah,
rather
than the
play their
Yankees.
pitchers than the Yankees. They're kind of like
Yeah,
the
so you know
of
what? Yeah,
baseball.
but I think we're both advising Yuli over Trey Mancini here.
Yeah.
But I think Trey Mancini does have a lot of value going forward. But we'll keep it pushing. Colton Wong is our next name here, and once again, somebody everyone's probably familiar with at this point. Guy's been around a long time, but we wanted to mix up the positions here. He's a second baseman. Milwaukee Brewers now. From former St. Louis Cardinal. He's 57% owned on Yahoo. So far in the year, he's got 20 runs, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, 8 steals, which I did want to point out. And he's only hitting 257, but he's been heating up here recently. On May 15th, he went 2 for 2 with a bomb and 2 steals. May 13th, he had a bomb, had a steal on May 10th. So he's just been kind of chipping in a little bit here, here and there, everywhere. Guy that I kind of like at the moment. You can go out there and get him. You need yourself a second baseman. I'm recommending Colton Wong for this week.
Yeah. I mean, second base, another future thing. He had 14% bump, so you're gonna probably have trouble finding him in your league. He's still 57% owned, but I'll take that week, and especially at second base. Shoot, is he available in my other league? Because I actually really need one, so that's gonna happen. And then you go from there. It is what
Yeah,
it is.
it's getting tough out there, guys. We're doing our best we can here at the MDs, but these waiver wire episodes as we get further and further along. I will throw one more name out there for the deeper league folks. Somebody that we have talked about on the podcast and a little bit spur of the moment because Matt is making me feel a little bit off with these high ownership numbers. But somebody who is only 6% owned on Yahoo, somebody we've talked about before on the podcast. Travis Demeritte of the Atlanta Braves. Now, he's eligible at second base, shortstop, and outfield on Yahoo. He's hitting 300 on the year. He's got 3 bombs. He's got 5 RBIs. And I'll tell you this, I've watched him, watched a lot of his games. The kid's got an outstanding glove. So I see him sticking around, with the Braves. He's hit leadoff, actually, the last 4 games. On May 13th, he went 3 for 3. On May 11th, he hit a bomb. On May 14th, he went 2 for 4. So just a kid that kind of looks like, he's doing a little bit of, this, a little bit of that in the Braves lineup. I think he could totally do worse than Travis Demeritte. Matt, I know I'm just throwing this one at you off the cuff here. Somebody we have mentioned before. What do you think about Travis Demeritte?
The fact that he's hitting 300 on the year sells it for me because, trying to find batting average, usually even in the draft, right? So, like after pick 110, you're even lucky if you can find somebody batting 300. Now you're going to be able to scoop somebody off the waiver wires doing it. Yeah, I'm going to take that. Because you know what? If I could pick somebody up, not kill me in batting average category, I'm a happy camper. But yeah, that's the most I know about him because that's it. The first time I'm hearing his name.
Yeah, I'll say this. I mean, in the minors, he hit 283 this year in 12 games. In the minors last year, he hit 285 across 82 games with actually 22 bombs and 8 steals. He's 27 years old, so kind of in that prime where he could be doing a little bit of something like he is. So there could be something to see here going forward. I think 6% owned is a little bit low for a guy that's doing what he's doing with triple position eligibility. Travis Demeritte, second, short, and outfield. And I mean, that's just that's just somebody that needs to be picked up in a lot more leagues. Let's transition though, Matt, to starting pitchers. Here, and we're gonna start it off with one of my boys here. I went out and I picked this guy up in almost all my leagues that he was available, and that's either I believe it's Josh Winder or Josh Winder. Not 100% sure on that one. I will get it straight by the next time we talk about him here. So thankfully, he's probably not listening to the episode right now. So with Josh Winder here, he's 38% owned on Yahoo, which is you can go out there and get him in most of your leagues right now, which I would advise to do, as he's my number one waiver wire pitcher that we're going to talk about today. I'll give you his numbers so far in the year for Winder. He has 2 wins, 1 loss, 2.45 ERA. That's across 3 starts, and he came out of the bullpen for 3 games as well. 25 innings. He has 22 strikeouts, and he's got a 0.97 WHIP. Looks very, very good in my opinion, and he has a very good track record in the minor league as well. Last year for Winder, he had a 2.62 ERA, 4 wins, 0 losses, 14 starts, 72 innings, 80 Ks, and 0.94 WHIP. And the year before, it was just more of the same for Josh Winder of the Minnesota Twins, starting pitcher. He was 7-2 in 2019 in the minors, 21 starts, 2.65 ERA, 125 innings, 118 Ks, and an 0.97 WHIP. Just like I said, highly, highly recommending this kid right now.
Yeah, I mean, his last start wasn't so hot
That's true.
against Houston, which is not great. But I mean, everything else before it. But every pitcher gets lit up, so don't let that deter you. I guess is what I'm saying here. I think that you know what, it's hard to find a good pitcher out there and somebody that's at least kind of staying in the low ERAs and doing their thing. I'm gonna probably take a shot on him. I mean, why not?
Yeah,
But
and I'll just throw on this little last tidbit. He does get Oakland this week, as I mentioned, and his last outing against Oakland came on May 6th. He went 6 innings strong. He got the win. He had 8 strikeouts, did not give up a run, had an 0.5 WHIP. Just we'll transition here into our next starting pitcher, Matt. That's actually somebody I seen you picked up. So I don't know if you want to take the lead here. I believe it's Zach Luge or Zach Loge. Once again, with these names, these are just guys that are fairly new, so we're not 100% sure on the names, but I believe it's Zach Luge here for the
yeah,
Oakland Athletics.
Luge, Loogie, my bad, but it's happening. Huge loogie. I'm not sure, but my man, spit a loogie all over Detroit today. It looks like so. This is today. He got the W, 6 Ks in 7 innings, zero runs given up with a .71
Oh wait, Matt,
WHIP.
was that no? That was 11th, right? May 11th.
Oh, I apologize. That is May
Yeah, right.
11th.
May 11th. May
He's going
11th. All right.
tonight. I was
Yeah,
just got all
he is.
excited.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. I just wanted to make sure.
yeah, good call. Week before that against Minnesota, 5 Ks, 3.6 ERA, and that was in 5 innings. Tonight, I think he's probably going to keep on the trend against Minnesota, going later into the game. 17% owned, which is pretty hot. A nice pitching prospect, finally getting his shot. So I took a shot on him today. I think that he may have a long-term value, being that what he's doing now is probably going to keep him in the rotation. So I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I'm not super familiar with the kid. I did see that he was picked up in a couple of leagues here with outstanding numbers so far in the year. Matt, did you read off his numbers on the year? I
Uh,
don't want to repeat here if you did.
Not that I did the play-by-play,
Yeah.
but I can hit it for you real quick. So it's two
Yeah, okay,
dubs,
yeah.
12 Ks, 1.35 ERA, 105 WHIP in 13 innings. That's pretty
Yeah, yeah. So
awesome.
so so the kid's looked great since he has got called up here. It's against Minnesota tonight, and he does looks like he's lined up against the Angels next time out. So I don't know. You're taking a little bit of a risk here with the kid. I mean, in the minors so far this year, he didn't look too great across 4 starts. He had a 5.62 ERA, 16 innings, 13 Ks, and a 1.81 WHIP. So that wasn't too great. But I will say this: in 2021 in the minors, he looked a lot better. It was the 3.67 ERA. 12 wins, 4 losses. And once again, I believe it's Zach Luge here we're talking about of the Oakland Athletics. 24 starts, 125 innings, 144 strikeouts with a 1.11 WHIP. So he did have a very strong 2021. I will say this: if he continues to pitch well, then hey, man, it's a juice to orange situation. With this kid, you pick him up and you just see where it goes. I think you could do worse than Zach Luge at the moment. The next guy we're going to talk about here is going to be let's do Hyunjin Ryu, somebody that everyone is familiar with here. Toronto Blue Jays pitcher. He's been banged up a little bit to start the year, coming off had 2 bad starts, got injured, but came back and had a strong one in his last outing on May 14th in his first comeback game. He pitched 4.2 innings against Tampa Bay, which is actually a very good team. Got only 3 Ks, had a 1.93 ERA and a 1.07 WHIP. So I mean, he looked pretty good. Gets Cincinnati Reds here on May 20th, which is the Cincinnati Reds are literally beating themselves right now. So I mean, if he can't go out there and give you a little something against the Cincinnati Reds, I'd be disappointed. But it's a monitor. It's a situation to monitor. 54% owned on Yahoo with Hyunjin Ryu, and I mean, he's somebody who's been successful in the past before. So I would like to see if the Blue Jays can get anything left out of him here, going forward. Once again, I'll say for the starts this week, him and Winder got a pretty good matchups. So I mean, I would try and go out there and get Ryu if you need a streamer for this week.
Yeah, I mean, Ryu, you guys are probably a little cringing hearing his name if you owned him last year because he was he
That
was
is true.
he was the outright bust of all busts. I mean, we all thought coming out of 2020 that he was going to continue. He finally figured it out, and on that Blue Jays team that's looking really good and young, that was going to be their race. But unfortunately, he took an outright dumpster fire and just pooped in his big boy pants here. So what I would say is it's a little encouraging, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. But the start is good, at least for a spot start, and
Yeah.
nice little pitch and ditch action. And then see how he did. If he really lights him up, maybe hold him for next week, see who he's pitching against. But I mean, if it's anybody halfway decent, I'm probably is a drop for me after the fact. But stream
Fully
as you
agree.
will. Stream.
Fully agreeing with you, everything there. Like I said, I think it's a great start for this weekend. The Reds are literally beating themselves at this point with Hunter Greene and Art Warren giving them a bunch of no-hit innings, and they still somehow managed to lose that game. So I definitely think he's worth a shot this week. Matt, you want to talk about your boy here, the one you were a little high on? You wanted me to add on here? I believe it's a Chase Silseth.
Oh yeah,
Of the
is that how you say it?
I believe that's how I've seen it pronounced. It's Chase Silseth.
Okay.
That's how I believe it's pronounced. This one I've heard said before, so that's what I had heard. That's what I'm going by.
Okay. Well, so here's the deal. Silseth, okay, is one of Angels' top pitching prospects, and you know what? It's exciting to see him being called up. They have a lot of good young pitchers. I don't know if he's going to stay up. That's the thing, but I think he's at least a stream. He's definitely worth it. His first outing in 6 innings, he had 4 Ks, got the W, no runs given up, and a whip. And it doesn't show right now, but he's probably going to at least get one more start before getting sent down.
I think the plan is for the kid to start Sunday against Oakland. That's what I'm seeing here because they do have the 6-man rotation. So it's going to be 5 starts or 5 games until he gets his next start. He'll start the 6th game.
So that's great.
Yeah.
So, and you said Oakland, so that's an easy matchup.
Yeah, Oakland. Yeah, it's a very easy matchup.
That's cake right there. So that's a start for me, especially at the end of the week. A nice little extra, probably the dub, probably the K's, definitely the ERA. It looks like because nobody's even hitting on Oakland. They're just as bad as the Reds.
Yeah, 5% owned for Chase Silseth, starting pitcher of the Los Angeles Angels here. Matt, I will chime in with you here and say first outing was absolutely great. This year in the minors, he looked good so far too. It was 5 starts. 2-0, 1.73 ERA, 26 innings, 37 Ks, and an 0.84 whip. Man, kid looks good. I believe I read that he was the first player to be called up from the 2021 draft, which is awesome to see. He's only 22 years old, so I don't think anybody really knows too much about this kid. If they told you that they did, they'd be lying. Besides, maybe he throws hard. I saw he throws about 97 miles an hour. He got pretty good breaking stuff as well. I watched a little bit of that first start there. At least saw the highlights, to be honest with you. And I think you could do worse than the kid right now. You go out there, you throw him out against Oakland, and you kind of see where this thing goes. The Angels are decent with starting pitching. So juice the orange with the kid and just kind of see where the situation goes. So we're gonna keep it moving here to our last starting pitcher, and then we got 2 closers here to wrap it up for you. But we're gonna talk about Bailey Ober, of the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota Twins have been pretty good, but Bailey Ober here is supposed to be coming off of the IL. I'll give you the exact date in a second if y'all bear with me. When is he coming off?
He's got a rehab start on Sunday.
Yes. Okay. So there you go. That's what it was. Thank you, my brother. I do appreciate that. He actually, in his last rehab start, he racked up 7 strikeouts over 5 innings in a minor league start with AAA St. Paul. That was on Sunday. And it was 4 earned runs. So, he gave up a couple runs there. But, he's working his way back from an injury. So maybe he was trying out a couple things here on the minor leaguers. But so far for Bailey Ober on the year, he's been pretty good. 2.75 ERA, a 1.22 whip, which is a little high, 19 innings, 16 strikeouts. But Minnesota, they're doing all right here with starting pitching. They were working with Chris Paddock. They're all right. I like, they're a first place team. You could totally do worse than Ober right now. 41% owned. I say keep an eye on the situation, and you see where it goes. Joe Ryan, by the way, was the other name I was trying to think of. The Minnesota Twins, working wonders with that kid as well. So keep an eye on Bailey Ober and just see where things go here with him. That's the last starting pitcher that we have for you guys today on the waiver wire. But we do want to throw in 2 closers here. The better of the 2 is going to be Emilio Pagan of, once again, Minnesota Twins. He looks like he's got the opportunity there over Duran. Once again, we're having a horrible day with the names today.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday, folks. So far, Pagan on the year, he's got 5 saves, 11.2 innings, 15 Ks, a 1.45 ERA, but that WHIP is a little high with a 1.46. He used to close for Tampa Bay, so I mean, didn't have like a full-time job, but he got a bunch of saves over there over the past couple of years, so he's has experience in the role. And I think the Twins are going to look to rock out with him here for a little bit. 31% owned on Yahoo at the moment. My brother, any thoughts on the closer here, Emilio Pagan?
I mean, it's definitely encouraging because he's had five saves in the last month. So
Oh, there
that's
you
all.
go.
So I mean, clearly he's at least getting the opportunity for saves when they do present themselves. At this point, he's averaging one a week. I mean, last week he had three. So
Yeah, it looks like things are looking up for him.
yeah. So they're clearly trusting him if they're throwing him out there 3 times 1 week. So you know what? I'd pick him up if you're struggling for a closer, truthfully. And that's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. So last name here on the waiver wire episode for us that's going to be the closer right now for the Baltimore Orioles. That's Felix Bautista. I mean, he's actually looked really really good so far in the year, and the kid's got electric stuff from what I've seen. 1.93 ERA, a 1.07 WHIP. He's only got 2 saves so far because I think he's stole that role from Jorge Lopez. And that's 14 innings, 16 Ks here for Felix Bautista. 4% owned. Go out there and get him. I'm really recommending this kid. I think he's got good stuff. The Orioles been winning, games here, recently. So I'd say, he's definitely worth the ad. And the games they are going to win are probably going to be close and they're going to need to be saved. And this kid looks like he's doing well so far.
Yep, 2 saves last week, so he's definitely getting the opportunity again. That trends in the upward direction. So if this is the thing about closers. About about 65% won't keep their job going into the season, and there'll be these guys that you scoop up, and then you just keep mixing and matching, staying like water if you didn't get one of the top 5. So you know what? This is one of those guys, and we're just going to keep bringing to you every week.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, my brother. That's the game that I love to play in fantasy baseball is who's closing for what team, who got hurt. And, it's something I like to pride myself in. So, pay attention to the closers that we are bringing up because we're not just really bringing them up for no reason. We're bringing them up because we think they're capable of saving games for their teams and helping out your fantasy teams in a category that sometimes can be tough to get a hold of. Once again, 4% owned for Felix Bautista. You can get him pretty much everywhere right now. So, guys, that brings this one to an end. Fantasy MDs, we appreciate everything that, all the love, all the support that we're getting, these days. One thing that we will throw out there, if you could go out and, give us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple and write a little review if you like what you're hearing so far. We truly would appreciate it. It goes a long way of helping us, get our reach a little bit further, and it means a lot. It means a lot. So, we'll see you guys again on Thursday with some a little bit more fun here at the Fantasy MDs. Until then, guys, thank you. See you.
Peace.